Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. In previous video, we have already created two different projects of different microservices, that is customer and order, and we have also developed all of the required APIs in the orders. So if you haven't watched that video, then just go to description and check out the link. In this video, what we are going to do is we are going to hit these particular APIs from the another microservice, that is customer, which we have created in the previous video. Okay, so in this one, here you can see this one is completely empty. So we are going to use this particular service communicate to that particular order service. So what we will do is we will write one API here. We will hit this particular API in the customer, and that will internally call the API which relies on this one, that is orders, that is create order. Okay. And in this video, we're going to do this by using the REST template. If you want to know about the Feign client, in that case, you can skip this video. In the next video, you can check how to use a Feign client. So let's quickly minimize this and let's move back over here. So first thing what I'm going to do is I'm going to just move back over here and just start the order service, because we are not going to make any modification into this one. This will be by default up so that whenever we hit it, we get the response. Okay, so port 8080 is already in use. So let me free this. How to do that? Just go over here, search for CMD, right click, run as administrator. Yes. You have to first run this one so that you can find which port is being used by which process ID. So 6120 is the process ID. So move back over here. Task kill /f/PID. We have to mention the process ID is the last one. So we have to mention 6120, hit enter, or the process is terminated. Close it, close this one too. Let's start the application. And here you can see this, now our service is on port 8080. So it's working as expected. Let's quickly minimize this. And after this, what we have to do is, into this one, again, in the customer part also, we have to these two classes, right? That is order and the product, because whenever we hit this create order, it's going to return an order object which we have to put. So in that case, to handle this stuff, we have to create the entity. So let me quickly move back over here in the customer, right click on this, select new package, and in this one I'm going to mention the entity. And let's quickly create the entity for these two. So first one is product. So right click on this, click on this one, Java class, product, hit enter. In the product, we have four different stuff, that is private, long ID, another one is private, string name, private, string description, private, double, price, and we need getter and setters. So alt insert, select getter and setters, select all, click on OK. After this, we also need to generate alt insert, override the to string, select all and hit enter, so that it should print the meaningful value. Next thing what we need is, we need one order object. So right click on this, click on new, select Java class, order. In this one we have variables. First is private long customer ID. Another one is private list of product. And this one is products. Alt insert, getter and setters, select both. Then override the to string. Hit enter. Now the task for this one is done. Next thing what we have to do is we have to create four different APIs. After that, we will set up the REST template configuration. So for the REST template, we don't have to add any separate dependency. Whenever we add, as you have seen that when we downloaded the project, we have added dependency for Spring Web, right? So with the Spring Web, you can directly use a REST template. You don't have to add any separate dependency to this stuff. So be assured, we don't need it. Okay. Next thing, let's go back to the customer REST, and over here we will create some of the endpoints which we are going to hit. We are going to use it from the customer one. So let's move back over here. So at the rate post mapping, and then to this one, the path will be slash create order from customer. I'm just giving an extra word that is from customer so that it indicates that we are hitting the API from the customer. So the use case of this doing this may be differ from different application, but I'm just showcasing that this can be also be done. Okay, and how to do it. Order this one and at the rate request body. To this one again we are going to use the order, right? Next thing, another one is at the rate put mapping. The path for this one is slash update order from customer, and in this one we have to pass the customer ID. Let me copy this one, and in this one request body order updated order, and this customer ID is also there. So go back over here, make some space at the rate path variable, and this is of long type customer ID like this one. Let me minimize this one a little bit. Next API which we have is get mapping. Path slash get order from customer slash customer ID. So this will also return order object, get order from customer. And this one again at the rate path variable, long customer ID. Save it. Next we have is at the rate delete mapping. In this one we have to give the path slash delete order from customer, and in this one this is going to return a boolean value, delete order from customer. At the rate request param, into this one we have to pass the ID, long customer ID. Now save it. Next thing what we have to do is we have to go to the customer REST template, hover over here, implement methods, select this one and implement it. By using the customer service dot create order from customer, select this one, put order. This will show error because in the customer service we don't have this particular method. Okay, so we'll create it, don't worry. Customer service dot get order from customer. In this one we will pass the customer ID. Here return customer service dot delete. Let me copy this one, and in this one we will pass customer ID like this. Now after this what we will do is we will hover over this create method in the service. So here you can see this one is created. Move back over here, hover over this one, create method, move back, hover over this, create method, and lastly we have to create this one. Now here you can see this, all the errors over here is gone. Next thing what we have to do is we have to move back over here, and here it shows the error. So hover over this, implement method, select all and click on OK. Next thing what we have to do is we have to create another class in which we will have all the codes which is going to interact to the another microservice. We will basically do a endpoint hit on our behalf. Before we do that, we need a REST template object. So REST template, as I mentioned, that whenever we have this particular, whenever we add Spring Web in our application, in that case, we can use a REST template. But REST template is directly not accessible. What we have to do is we have to create the bean of that particular one. So for that, go to the application one. And over here, this class is by default in configuration class because this is the combination of three different annotation, and one is the configuration. Here you can see this. It means that you can create a bean inside this one. So what we have to do is we have to simply create public, and this will basically return REST template. This is REST template, and simply return REST template. So what it will does is this will basically create a bean, an object of this REST template, and whenever we try to auto wire it, the object will be injected at that particular place. Okay. So now we have the object. Next thing what we have to do is we have to create a template package. So move back over here, right click on this package, and inside this one I'm going to create REST template. You can give any name as per your choice. I'm just giving it REST template. So right click on this, click on this one, and I'm going to create a class that is order template. Okay. In this one, this needs to be an configuration class. Not the configuration, it's to be enabled for the bean, right? So for that, what you have to put another component on the top of this one. So what will happen is, this is a stereotype annotation. Whenever Spring sees any stereotype annotation on that particular class, it creates and beans in the IOC container it handles. Wherever we automate this order template in there, the object of this one will be injected. Okay. Next thing inside this one, REST template. So I'm going to create private REST template and REST template auto wire it. Now, if we try to up the application, in that case, if this REST template object is there in the IOC container, then this will be injected over here. If not, then it will throw the exception. So let's quickly test this. So I've started the application. And here you can see this, our application is up to 8081. So let me stop this one. And what I'm going to do is I have to move back to this application, and let's comment this one and save it. Now try to run the application. Here you can see this field REST template in this one is required a bean of type org Spring Framework Web Client REST template. Okay, so whenever you add a web dependency, in that case, we have the REST template inside it, but the bean is not created because we haven't asked for, right? So here you can see this exception is thrown over here. So now we will create the bean of it. Uncomment it and move back to the order template. Over here, first thing we will do is I'm going to declare a base URL. So in base URL, basically what will happen is that is a base URL for another microservice. So private, that will be final, that can't be modified. The string, this will be base underscore URL. What is the base URL for this one? That is HTTP:// our application is running port 8080. So localhost 8080, and the APIs which we are going to access is /order. So I'm just keeping order over here because from this class I'm going to hit all the APIs related to orders one. So this will be the base URL. This is common for the URLs, as /order we have added at the class level. So if you have here, you can see this one is /order. So whatever you have to hit inside this particular one is you have to hit after /order, then /create order, right? So in that case, I have added this particular stuff. We have also tested the same while testing the APIs in the previous video. So make sure you have followed that, and make sure to subscribe our channels. That helps and motivates us to do more videos and come up with new contents. Okay. So here next thing what we have to do is we have to simply create public order, and this method is create order. In this one, it will accept order, and final URL will be URL is equal to base URL plus slash order. So what exactly we have to write? So whatever mentioned over here, we have to write that. So move back over here, write this particular stuff and close it. So now what is the final URL? http://localhost/colon 8080/order/create order. So if you want to test it, so you can use a logger, print it. Let me use the create a logger object. Go. We will use org.slfj. Log is equal to logger factory, that is also from slf4j dot get logger. Inside this one we have to pass the class name. So order templates dot class. So what I will do is I will print the final URL. So log dot info create order URL, and this is URL. Or Control Alt L to format things. Next thing what we have to do is simply return REST template dot. We will use one method, that is post for object. Into this one we will pass the URL, and another thing is order, and another thing is order dot class. Hit enter. Now you must be worried that why we are passing this order and why we are passing the type of this one. So if I go inside this one, then here you will observe that you have to pass the URL to this one, which endpoint you want to hit. Second thing is what is your request payload, like the object. This one is the complete payload which I want to send to this particular endpoint. Okay. And the third part is the response type. What exactly our API is going to respond. Okay. That is, the response type is also order.class. If you have any other custom class, in that case you can mention that particular one. If this one is going to return a map, so map.class you can also use. Map, other stuff you can also use. But here you can see this required type is order but provided map. So this is also through an error. Okay. So here you can see this, the way we can process. Next thing, another argument is URI variable. So if you have any variable in the path variable, in that case you will pass that in the last parameter over here. So if I type something like this, can you see this? In variables, if we pass it or we don't pass it, in that case, in both cases it will work, because this is where args argument, triple dot. You can pass more than one value. If you want to pass 5 values, that will also work. Okay. So we don't have any variables which is being passed in the URL, so we won't pass this particular stuff. So let me remove it. Now save it. Next thing what we have to do is we have to the customer service, and what we will do is we will move back over here and we will auto wire our order template. And what we will do is we will simply call order template dot order, and we will pass the order object whatever we have received. Now we will test this. Let's start our application. Let's quickly test the create order from the customer. So let me open the post method. So let me quickly copy this particular one. Back over here, paste it. What I'm going to do is let me dismiss it. Let me copy the request payload. Okay. So this is a post API. So move back this one to post. Let me clear this all console. Okay. Minimize this one and to customer REST. So what APIs which we have is create order from customer. So let me copy this one. Order from customer. In the path URL, we don't have anything, so remove it. So our service on which the application is running is port 8081, and we are using the customer. But we are hitting internally, we are hitting the create order, that is in orders. Okay. So this is clear that we are going to hit the customer microservice right now. So this one is post call. In the body, we have to mention the JSON. So JSON over here, we have to mention. So this is the JSON. In the orders, we have ordered class. We have created one customer ID, one products object, that is list of products. So this is the way which it is. So let me change this one to like this one. Now send it. And now here you can see this, we got 100. If I move back over here to this one, and we have already printed the create order URL. So here you can see this is the final URL which is executed. But if we move back over here you can see this. Here we can't finalize, we can't get that if this particular API is hit or not. So what we will do is we will clear this one and back over here. And what we will do is we will add a logger into this one also. So let me quickly add a logger. Order service simple class. So what we will do is we will print the complete object of the order. So log.info create order. Into this one we will print the complete order object. So as we have already overwritten the toString method, so it will print the complete object over here. So let's quickly restart our application and let's quickly test this. So here you can see this, the application is up and running on port 8080, but we are hitting the 8081. That is the customer one. So if I send it, our customer ID is 1234. So if I move over here you can see this, create order ID is 1234. Whatever we have passed from there, we got it, right? If I minimize it, if I go over here you can see this one is again hit. So second hit is being shown over here. Create order from customer. So this is confirmed that this one is being called from the first microservice to the another microservice. Let's quickly test for other stuff. That is the customer ID. Here you can see that this customer ID is being passed. So how exactly we have to use the another ways. So let's move back over here. Let's quickly stop the application. Move back to the order template. Over here we will write another method, that is to update order. So public order update order. To this one we will accept long customer ID. Another is order updated order string URL is equal to base URL plus slash. Let me just move back to this one order. Let me minimize this. Go to this one, this complete URL and paste it over here. Next thing what we have to do is we have to create the headers, HTTP headers. If you pass anything extra in the headers, so you should follow this approach. So HTTP headers is equal to new HTTP headers. HTTP let me just check why this one is showing an error. Is equal to new HTTP. This one we have to use. Let me revert this. Headers is equal to new HTTP headers from the Spring Boot. Okay. Next thing what we have to do is in this headers, we have to set the content type. Set content. Okay, in this one, the content type, whatever the things which is going to be returned, that will be the whatever the things which in this one we have to mention. So media type, and in this one we have to mention the application JSON. Okay, in this one we have to mention the type of body which we are passing from the service. Okay, so I am passing an application JSON, so that's what it's written into this form. So HTTP entity, and this one is going to accept order type entity. So request entity is equal to new HTTP entity. In this one we will pass the updated order object and we have to pass the header. So it will create a HTTP. Next thing what we have to do is we have to simply call RestTemplate dot exchange method dot exchange method, and this one we have to pass the URL, what type of API this is, which we are going to hit. So if I go over here, so our API type is put mapping. So we have to mention put over here. So HTTP method dot put. Next thing, we have to pass the request entity. Third thing, we have to pass the type of object which is going to be returned. So order.class. Lastly, we have to pass the arguments. You can see this, the argument is as customer ID. So we have to pass that. After this hit, it's going to return object of response entity of type order. So response entity of type order, we are going to get response entity is equal to this one. Next thing what we have to do is we have to simply get the body from it. So return response entity dot get body, and the task is done. So if I click and go into this exchange, here you can see this. What we have is, first thing is URL, second thing is HTTP method, what type of method we are going to hit. Third thing is request entity, whatever the request entity, the object we are passing, that we have to mention. Fourth one is response type, what is going to be responded from that particular API. And last one is that URI variables, that is in the URL, what are the different variables you are passing. So it will automatically place order which you will add. So if you have 2, 3, so it will add in that particular order. So whenever you are in this exchange method, we have more control how we have to proceed. So here you can see this, the method type. We have a granular control whenever we are using the REST template approach. So let's quickly test this one also. So move back over here, and here what we will do is order template dot update order we will call, and so this one we will simply pass customer ID and updated order. And now quickly start the application and let's test this. So move back over here, updated order. Let's quickly duplicate this one and change the update order from customer, the endpoint. Next thing, this one is put. Let me minimize it and let's see. Our application is up and running with 8081. Okay. So we have to pass the customer ID in URL. So let's move back over here. And in the body, we have to pass the field. So let me change this one. So in the URL, we have to pass the ID. Next thing, this one is, let me change this one to updated. This one also to updated. This one is 30. So now send it. So here you can see this. We got updated default product to updated description for 2, and the price is also updated. But we are hitting the customer endpoint. So this one is also working. Next thing what we have to do is we have to test for get order from customer, and we are going to test for delete order. Let me quickly minimize this. Let's stop this one. Move to order template, and here we are going to write the few more methods. So public, this one is going to return order object. So get order. So as we have updated now, so with the same ID, we will get the updated one. So long customer ID and the string URL is equal to base URL plus the URL which we have in the order service. So let me quickly copy this particular. Let's move back over, paste it, Control Alt L to format. If you want to test this URL, the final URL, you can also paste it like this. Update order URL. Get order URL. And next thing what you have to do is you have to simply return REST template dot get for object, and in this one we will pass the URL, then return type is order dot class, and the values which we have to pass, that is customer ID. Save it, Control L to format it. Now we'll use this in customer service simple. So move back over here, return order template dot get order, and we'll pass the customer ID. Now restart the application and let's test this one. This one is get mapping. So let me clear this particular stuff. Move back over here. Let me duplicate this. Let me copy the endpoint. So get order, and the ID is same. Let me remove this one to get, and we don't need to pass anything over here. So now send it, and here you can see this. We are getting 1, 2, 3, 4. That is the updated default product, which we have updated, right? So this one is being updated in the second microservice, that is in the in-memory data. Okay. Next thing remains with us, and you can also see the get order URL is also printed over here. This is the final URL which is printed. Localhost 8080. We are internally hitting the port 8080 that is running in the service, right? Next thing, move back over here, go to this order template, and we will write another method, that is to delete one. So this time we will use the exchange method of the REST template. So public boolean delete order long customer ID. And this one, string URL is equal to base URL plus, we'll go over there and we'll copy this particular stuff. And this time, this one is in the request param form. So we have to also take care of that. So paste it, /delete order, and this one is the request param. So question mark, back over here, copy the name of this particular one, paste it is equal to what of the value we get over here. So that will be in this form. So here you can see this, if the input type is changed, in that case we have to also take care of that particular stuff, right? So this is the problem with the REST template. So we will also see how Feign give the leverage over this particular REST template. That's why I'm explaining REST template first before we dive into the Feign client. Okay. Here you can see this. I'm going to copy this one. This is delete order, and we'll print the URL. Next thing, HTTP headers. We will use a org.springframework.http headers is equal to new HTTP headers. Okay. In this one, I will set headers.set content type. To this one, I will set media type dot application JSON. After this, we will create a HTTP entity of type string, request entity is equal to new HTTP entity. Into this one, we will pass the headers. And finally, we will call the REST template dot exchange. In this one, we have to pass the URL. Then we have to pass the HTTP methods, the type of this one, that is the delete type. Then request entity, and we have to pass the return type, that is boolean.class, and we have to pass the ID like this. Ctrl-Alt-L to format. Next thing, we will return a response entity of type boolean, so we will accept that one. In the response entity of type boolean, response entity is equal to this one. So we will simply return response entity dot get body. Now let's quickly test this. So move back over here to the customer service sample. By default, it's being returned as false. Template dot get. We are going to use delete order, right? Into this one, we will pass the customer ID. Now restart our application and let's test for this one. Let me clear the console. Move back over here, duplicate this. This one is delete type. So select the delete, change the endpoint name, copy this one, paste it over here, and we have to also pass the customer ID. So like this, if I send it, here you can see that we received true. If I go over here, here you can see this, the final URL which is created is this one. If we try get that particular, we won't be able to get it because that doesn't exist now. If I try once again, we will get false because that one is already means that deleted is also working as expected. So next thing what you observe from this one is whenever the type, the request type, the values request type is being changed, we to take care of that. Here you can see this. If we are passing a path variable, then the preparation of URL is different. Whenever we are getting into the request param, the preparation of URL is different. So we also need to take care of that whenever we are having or we are using the REST template. So REST template gives us granular control over the things, like to intercommunicate between the services, but at the same time, it's complex. Okay. So to overcome this issue, Netflix has given a thing that is a Feign client, which we are going to discuss in the next video. So please stay tuned, subscribe, and share with your friends.